Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more Friday Night Magic. Today I will be playing the Bounce and Boon deck. I like this hand, but I don't because it only has one planes in it. Beyond that, everything is pretty darn sexy. We're gonna draw a new hand. Let's hope for something a little better. That is what I would call a little better. Absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and keep this. All right, so Bounce and Boon. Here's the concept behind the deck. Lots of life gain, effects that trigger when creatures come into play, and then ways to bounce those back, re-triggering those effects. That is, I suppose, the general overrunner, the synopsis of the deck. So let's take a look at some few things. Starting off, we played the Soul Warden. It's 1 land for a 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, I gain 1 life. This includes creatures my opponent plays. So we've got 2 of those with another one sitting in our hand. We also have an Emancipation Angel. It's a 3/3 flying when it enters the battlefield. Let me show you 1 second. Gonna play, well, gonna try to do pre-combat second Soul Warden. I'll tell you why I was doing that. In case he like bounces this back when I attack or something. I'm trying to make sure I gain the life off of it, although if he did that, it would have been instant, so we could have bounced it back prior to the Soul Warden coming into play. Anyways, Emancipation Angel, 3 lands for 3/3 flying, so really good creature for its casting cost. When it enters the battlefield, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. So we're gonna be playing things that have effects when they come into play, then bouncing those back so that we can replay them. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Another Soul Warden? We also have Flicker Wisp, enters the battlefield, exile target permanent, and then return that card to the battlefield under owner's control at the beginning of your next end step. Again, the same idea, bouncing stuff back. I think we are going to actually just play the Emancipation Angel right now. Actually, because if we draw a land, we could Light from Within next turn. I'm gonna play the... I think we're gonna actually just play the Emancipation Angel right now, because I want a 3/3 flyer in play. That's really the big thing. If I had played the Soul Warden first, then I wouldn't have. If I'd played the Soul Warden, then I wouldn't have been able to play the Emancipation Angel this turn. So the only thing I'm thinking is that if I draw into a land, I could have had 4 lands next turn for Light from Within. But then the only thing that would have been getting hit with those were the Soul Wardens. I would have had a bunch of 2/2s, and that's okay, but. You know, not the greatest. So this is a good card for its casting cost in terms of its power toughness and the fact that it's flying. The drawback per se is that you have to bounce back a card, but again, that can be offset. That can be offset, and it has its benefits. Okay, so what I'm actually gonna do before anything else is I'm gonna actually swing at him with my 3/3 flyer. If he tries to, I'm trying to think here. Okay, so he's gonna block it with his 2/2, and then what is he doing? Then he's tapping his 2/2. Okay, but that doesn't work on his. I don't think that works the way he thought it was going to. Let's attempt to play Soul Warden. He might have a counterspell for this. I don't think, I thought he thought that he was going to be able to pump this up when tapping it, but tapping it only pumps up other creatures with flying, not this one, so. He might be mulling through that right now, I'm not, he might be like, what happened? I don't even know. Opponent hasn't really done a whole lot this game so far. I haven't done a whole lot this game. We're going to try to do something big right now, though. Attempting to play a Light from Within. If he has a counterspell, he wants to use it here, otherwise he's getting hit really hard. Light from Within pumps up all my creatures +1/+1 for each of the white mana symbols that they have on their casting cost, turning my 3/3 into a 5/5, turning these 1/1s into those. He's gonna unsummon the 5/5. The 3 2/2s will still go through, so we hit him for 6. We're up to 27 from all the life gain that we've gotten so far with our Soul Wardens. Now, a bummer here is that we haven't seen anything, I haven't drawn into anything yet that has a huge benefit when it comes into play. And that's the concept of this deck. Play these things with a big benefit, either life gain or something else when they come into play, and then bounce them back and replay them with these cards. For example, whenever another white creature enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. So that's something that you can do that's beneficial for you, harmful for your opponent, that sort of thing. I haven't played a land this turn, so I can actually technically play both of these. Ready? So we're gonna play the Emancipation Angel first, if the Emancipation Angel resolves. Okay, so Emancipation Angel comes into play. I get to return a permanent to my hand as it lands into play. Okay? So we're gonna be able to return the planes to our hand, one of the tapped ones, and since we haven't played a land this turn, we can play, oh, I guess we're gonna have to do that during our next main phase. I'm pretty sure we didn't play land this turn, did we? I don't know, my brain's all mumbo jumbo today. Well, we already, okay, never mind. I guess we did play, well, had we not played a land this turn, my thing would have worked, but we did play a land already, so. All right, he is gonna sleep. Tap all creatures target player controls. They don't untap during their next untap step. So what this means is that next turn, I don't get to untap these guys, so I can't attack with them this turn. Okay, so we've got this. Enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its next untap step. We've got this, so whenever another white comes into play, we can tap. So as you get the idea behind it. So we do something like I'd play the core Hookmaster, and then if I followed up with a Flicker Wisp, bouncing it back and then replaying it, we get to do the core Hookmaster effect 2 times. That's essentially how it's supposed to work. We're gonna just throw down a Court Street Denizen. And then that'll be it for this turn. Nothing else going on. He's at 7, we're 33. Remember, every time a creature comes into play, one of mine or his, we're gonna gain 3 life now because we've got 3 Soul Wardens in play. Here's a Zephyr Sprite. All right, so we're gonna be able to tap that, stop him from blocking, and, well, actually, I guess we would have been pushing through for the win either way if he's only playing 1 creature. Now, we also have this. When it enters the battlefield, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. It's got flash, so we can basically use this as protection for one of our creatures. All right, so what I am going to be doing pre-combat is throwing down a core Hookmaster. Okay. Let's see if he's trying to counter this or something. All right, he is going to play this. In addition to cast a cost, return to our creature you control to owner's hand, counter a spell. Okay, well, that's fine. Because now he's just dead when we attack him. Because now he doesn't have a creature anymore. So, I was just playing that to try to tap his creature so we could attack fully for the win. Although, I guess, yeah, we have way more than enough damage. I would have been a win anyways. But anyways, that was game number 1. Oh, here's an unsummon. That's fine. Still 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, that's game number 1. Let's move on to another match. Our second game is against Barnath. Let's see what we get for this opening hand here. Boy, oh boy. You know, the hand's pretty good. It's not bad. I don't know if we should really dump this. All right, we're gonna keep it. I don't like not having a Soul Warden in my opening hand. That's the main reason I considered getting something else. We do have the Lone Missionary, so we're gonna be able to play that on turn 2, gaining 4 life. And here's a great example of a card. So we've got all this stuff that bounces cards back to our hand. This is a perfect one to bounce back. Lone Missionary, you play it, you gain 4 life. Next turn, you Flicker Wisp, you return it, it comes back into play, you gain another 4 life, just as an example. Although what I'll probably be doing here is a... Ooh, there's the Soul Warden. Ooh. So do I play the Soul Warden first or the Lone Missionary? I think I want to play the Soul Warden first. It's only 1 life instead of 4, but we'll have this trigger. Because Emancipation Angel next turn, I'll be bringing the land back to my hand. Yeah, so we're going to play the Soul Warden first. This is also, we're going to be able to potentially get life off of anything that he's playing. Looks like we're playing the mono green land ramp deck, in which he's going to be getting a lot of lands in play early on, using things like Explore, using this Kalni Heart Expedition, and then he, oh boy. Well, he's supposed to be trying to get a lot of lands into play early. Unfortunately enough for him, though, he did not draw into the lands that he needs. Oh my gosh, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. A heck of a lot of trouble. Oh, this is awesome for us. This is very awesome for us. So he played an Explorer last turn, which allows him to draw a card and then play an additional land. Not only did he not have a land in his hand, but he didn't draw into a land, and he didn't get to play either one of the potential 2 that he could have. So we're going to see him rampant growth this turn, which lets him get a land into play tapped. That's going to put a counter on Hard Expedition. Once he gets 3, he sacrifices it, letting him search his library for lands and put them into play. He's gonna be pretty far behind though. He's gonna be in a lot of trouble here. We're gonna Lone Missionary. So 2/1 gets into play. We gain 4 life from him coming into play, 1 life off of the Soul Warden. We're gonna hit our opponent now for 4. Next turn, we've got a Light from Within, which is gonna pump these guys up. He'll be a 2/2. He'll be a 5/5, and he will be a 3/2. So that's gonna be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll be hitting him for 10 next turn if he doesn't get rid of these creatures. 10 damage. It'll bring him down to 5. He's got a blocker now. Unfortunately for him, though, the blocker's only a 1/1. So he can chump block, but he's not going to be able to kill any of these creatures that I'm hitting him with. Hard Expedition is triggering now. He's got 3 counters on it, so he can sack it. He's going to search his library for 2 lands, put them into play. He's got a 1/1 blocker, so he'll be able to block the 3/2. We're still going to have 5, 6, 7 damage go through. Oh, and I've got another one of these to play the turn after. That is hilarious. All right, so this is the play here. We also have this guy, but that's not, we can't even afford him, and that's nothing we'd want to do right now. So we're going to Light from Within, pre-combat, because we want to get these pump-ups to our creatures during the attack phase. And then we're swinging for the 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. He will block the 3/2. He can't block the 5/5 because it has flying and his creature does not. And he'd block the 3/2 over the 2/2 because the 3/2 is more damage blocked, obviously. So 7 goes through. He's now down to 8. Now he does have 6 in play, so this means he could Primeval Titan. The deck that he's playing, you want to run Primeval Titan no matter which variant. Oh, he doesn't. Unless, actually, he's got another land. If he's got another land to play right now, he could still do Primeval. Okay, so no Primeval, so he's just dead. He's completely screwed. Next turn, we kill him with another Light from Within. This is going to become a 7/7, and then one of these 2 will go through because he has a Farhaven Elf, but he can only block one of them with the Farhaven Elf. So he is screwed. Yeah. By his math, he lives, so he just sees 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He blocks 3, he takes 7, he's at 1. Unfortunately, what he didn't know is that we have a second Light from Within, which pushes us through for more than enough damage. And to secure the second win. Just declare his blocker, blocks a 4/3, 7, 8, 9, 10 goes through. He has an 8, -2, game number 2. Is a win. Now on to game number 3 versus Logic. Uh-oh. Oh man. I don't know, for playing a logical player, we're having trouble. Hey, wait. Shut up, Force. Let's see. This hand's not bad. It's not a ton of life gain. We do get to play first. We're gonna keep it. We also have a very nice early strong play on this core Skyfisher. Maybe open up with a Missionary, then bounce back the Missionary with the Skyfisher. Or we could just play the Skyfisher as early beats. You know what I'm saying? We have bounce back with the Emancipation Angel, potentially. Yeah, we're gonna play this as early beats. What does that mean? It's an early, strong creature that's gonna be a huge pain in the butt for my opponent to deal with. It is a 2/3 flyer is really the kicker. That's sort of most, that's where the biggest, that's what makes it the, oh my gosh. Okay, well, at least that won't outright kill this thing. That's what makes it a hard thing to deal with. Now, unfortunately enough for me though, I do happen to be playing against an opponent who has an easier time of dealing with this type of thing, in that he's got flyers. He's playing a blue deck. Hilariously enough, I get a strong opener, but not so much against an opponent who's running blue. Just the general archetype is that blue has a lot of flyers. That's sort of generally speaking. Specifically, this is the Phantasm deck that we're playing against. So he's going to be getting pump-ups for his creatures and all sorts of fun stuff. And if he plays... Okay, that pretty much screws us right in the face right there. Is he going to save for blocking, or will he go on the offensive? He decides to go on the offensive. I'm trying to think here. I'm actually thinking... I was thinking about doing the Hookmaster. Yeah, let's do the Hookmaster right now. We can tap his 2/2, hit him for 4. His 2/2 is going to stay tapped. We would be so well off if he wasn't in play, because we'd be able to target his... We'd be able to target his Phantasms. Oh, he's going to unsummon. Let's see who's he going to pick. The 2/3 flyer, all right. He still gets hit with 2, though. And even if he saves this for a blocker, it's only got 2 toughness, so... We need to get rid of this thing, though. That's a big thing. That's a really big thing. We'll be throwing down an Emancipation Angel post-combat, so we can still attack with the Missionary. Although... Oh boy. He's probably got a counterspell. I do want to play this, but he probably has a counterspell for it. I'd rather have him counter like one of these 2 things. I'd rather have him counter the Restoration Angel or something. We could play 2 of those as well, or attempt to play 2 of those. Alright, well I'm going to move into combat phase. I'm gonna attempt to Restoration Angel when he declares. Actually, no. I'll have the blocker. I'll have the blocker land. Well, I'm gonna attempt to Restoration Angel that. This will probably get countered, but this means that we'll have a free Light from Within. Oh, does he not have the counter? No, he doesn't. All right, so we're gonna Restoration Angel this, so it comes back. I gain the life again, and we still hit him for 2. We're up to 25. We now have a 3/4 flying in play. Does he not have a counterspell? If he doesn't have a counterspell and he taps out, we're gonna Light from Within next turn. It's a Phantasmal Bear. Claustrophobia on the 3/4 flyer, okay. Well, he's tapped out though. So the 3/4 flyer is done unless I bounce it back. Which I can do. I can return it to my hand with an Emancipation Angel. Alright, so... Could return it to our hand a number of ways, or I could just Light from Within right now while he's tapped out. I think I'm going to do this while he's tapped out. And we're going to go straight for his face. Now he's going to block and kill this with one of those 2. Likely the 3/3. Because he doesn't want me to keep bouncing this to keep gaining life. He's going to go for this one and leave that through. Oh, wow, okay. I'm going to be able to keep bouncing this to keep gaining life, though. I really want a Flicker Wisp. That's what I need to draw into. He plays another Phantasmal Bear. And now he's saving for counterspells, basically. We've got the core Skyfisher, which we can do to bounce the Restoration Angel. Okay, so let's go... I'm actually going to go like this. Ooh, and then I could replay the Restoration Angel. As long as this lands. If the first one doesn't land, I can just play a second one, but... Okay, so there's a cancel. So I won't be able to replay the Restoration Angel. Should I just do the Emancipation now? Yeah, let's just do the Emancipation. It's a bigger flying creature. It's going to get pumped up more from that. We'll be able to return the Restoration Angel, and then that's going to drop off the Claustrophobia. And so I can replay the Restoration Angel in an upcoming turn. And we've got a 5/5 blocker. I actually don't want to. I don't want to swing with this right now because it'll die. I don't want it to die because I want to be able to bounce it back to gain more life by either a Restoration Angel method or from the Skyfisher. He's gonna play a Dragon 5/5 flying. It's a 6/6 because of the Lord of the Unreal. That's not good for us at all. That really puts a pretty huge kink in our plans, actually. So I could just Restoration. Or I could do these two, which will give me more flyers. Could also throw down this guy. Let me do a single Blade Splicer. This comes into play, I get a artifact, 3/3 colorless artifact in play that has first strike so long as this thing stays in play. I can keep bouncing it to keep getting those 3/3s. We're also gonna do the Skyfisher. We have not played a land this turn. I hope I'm right this time, because I've been wrong about that before. Since we haven't played a land this turn, I should be able to bounce this back and then replay it, just like that. Perfect. And then we're not going to attack. No, because then if I attack with a 5/5, he just blocks with a 6/6. This dies. I want to save this to keep bouncing for life gain in the future. This is probably the most interesting game that we've played so far in this episode of Friday Night Magic. He's gonna attack with a 6/6. I will just let that go through. I am not gonna sacrifice anything. I'll leave myself open to attack him. We've got life gain coming up. So let's see, we've got 5 in play, which means we could do both of these. Or just Restoration. I might just Restoration. I think I'm gonna swing with everything. Yeah. He's probably got a counterspell for the Restoration, but I guess we'll find out right now. I'm gonna swing with everything. Let's see what he's got going on here. He's gonna attempt to unsummon. Gonna Restoration Angel that. Has he got a counterspell for that? Of course he does. Alright, well at least his hand's empty now. The unsummon just returns this to my hand. His hand's empty, so I don't know why he's pausing. Oh, he's just doing the math. We're at 13. He's gonna let 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so he's gotta block at least one of these. 6, 12. Oh, actually, I think that was a mistake. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I just lost because I committed. So that brings us down to 2. I think I just lost because I committed too hard. Well, Jesus, these counter spells. All right. Oh my gosh. That's it. That's the game. Yeah. Yeah, that's the game. Oh, man. Cryptic Command. That top deck won him the game. That's unreal. Oh, that's so frustrating. Oh, man. Alright. So now he just attacks, and that'll do it. Oh, if he hadn't counterspelled, I think we would have been okay. Because we would have had 2... If he hadn't played a Cryptic Command, we would have had 2 Emancipation Angels in play, plus these 2 guys. So we would have been safe. We would have been able to double block that to kill that. We would have been able to block those 2. Oh, the Cryptic Command literally won him the game. Ah. All right, my friends, that's gonna do it for this episode of Friday Night Magic. A disappointing loss, but you know what? It was a close game nonetheless. I think two things. I don't know that I necessarily should have all-in attacked when I did. I think if I waited a couple more turns, I might have been in a better position. The blue deck doesn't have a lot of board clears, although he did have that Cryptic Command. So saving for blockers, if he had still drawn into that, you know, RNG and stuff, he would have been able to swing through for the win. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good game. It was close. Whatever. Let's take a look at the deck list here for Bounce and Boon. We've got 4 of the Soul Wardens to gain a life whenever a creature comes into play. The core Skyfisher, it's a nice strong early creature. You can bounce back either a valuable bounce back or just play it early to get a strong 2/3 in play. White main line, flash to return a creature to your hand. It's basically to save a creature. Lone Missionary, it comes into play, you gain 4 life, and so you're bouncing it back with the Lions, you're bouncing it back with the Skyfishers, replaying it for more life gain. Get the pacifism to lock down opponent's creatures. Blade Splicer comes into play, you get a 3/3 artifact token, and so long as this card's in play, they have first strike as well, and you can keep bouncing, keep playing, you know. The Emancipation Angel to 3/3 for 3 with flying, very similar to the core Skyfisher, although it's a beefier body. The Flicker Wisp comes into play. You exile a permanent and then drop it back into play at the beginning of your end step. Again, you're getting those extra trigger effects from replaying cards. We got the core Hookmaster. It enters play. You tap target creature opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller untap step. The Court Street Denizen. Whenever another white creature enters the battlefield, tap a creature opponent controls. This guy's really awesome. It lets you get a ton of land. So it's a 2/2, enters the battlefield, you search your library for a land. A 2/2 for 4, comes into play, you search your library for a land card, put it into play tapped. If it dies, you draw a card. We've got the Restoration Angel, same general idea as Flicker Wisp there. This one is Flash. Light from Within to pump up your creatures based on their white mana symbols. The Cloud Goat Ranger is a 3/3 for 5. Enters the battlefield, you put 3 1/1 white tokens into play. You can tap 3 untapped and pump up the Ranger, or just keep replaying this guy to get a ton of 1/1s in play. We didn't see this. We didn't see some of the big cards that really make this deck. One of them is Cathar's Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Exactly. It's crazy with this deck. Makes your creatures huge out of nowhere. Duplicate to remove an opponent's creature and then give your creature power and toughness equal to what that had. The Sun Titan is another card that really makes this deck, sort of like Cathar's Crusade. It's a 6/6 Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Most of this deck is converted mana cost 3 or less, so it allows you to refish and constantly replay those cards. Finally, the Sunblast Angel. It's good for removing your opponent's creatures. Comes into play. Destroy all tapped creatures. So after your opponent attacks you, play a Sunblast Angel. Goodbye to everything that they have. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see the Sun Titan or the Cathar's Crusade in action. But, you know, we still won 2 of those games. The last game was pretty darn close, so I'm overall pretty happy with it. I think it's a pretty decent deck. It's fun to play, too. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Friday Night Magic. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you have a great day, guys and girls. Keep watching and keep owning.